Hey Jesse, and a warm welcome to anyone else that stumbled onto our channel. Today we're going to be finishing up our hatch ranch, get that going, as well as developing our power spine for the new future. Now before we dive into it, at the end of our last episode, one of our subscribers mentioned that there were a couple of gaps in our sanctuaries over here, so I have put these tiles in behind the scenes. A little bit of naughty action there, my apologies, but we do have these tiles in, and at a high priority. I'm sure they're going to be built before any of these shine bugs can be hopefully escape. Well, we'll see. There's one, but his little baby is here, so I think it's safe. That's alright. Cool. So without further ado, I guess we can get into it. I do know that this has been finished, so we can, all the food's been moved, we can destroy that, as well as our supercomputer we don't have up and running yet. We're gonna need that if we want to get our hatches up and running for that research. Okay. 1, 2, 3, 4. How many hatches are there? 5. 6 hatches, roughly. It's not bad. In fact, let's start marking them. One over here somewhere. Oh, there we go. I missed that one earlier. Cool. Everything else just needs to progress. We do have a great amount of food stored up. We don't have power here. No, we do not get the power there so long. Dirt. Yeah, it's okay. You can store. Earl. Operating, storing, supplying, life support, token. Okay, we definitely need to get Earl a skill point in carrying, because he's only carrying 200 kilos a trip. That's terrible. However, supercomputer ASAP. Okay, I'm gonna put an extra ladder in here just for convenience. These here can go. That's no longer beneficial to us. Go. A little bit of hydrogen, some polluted oxygen, not bad. We could actually come in here and maybe even grab our very first neural vacillator. That would be cool. What's the temperature down there like? It's not bad. I mean, we don't want that to get too far into our base, but it's got this granite and igneous layer. Now igneous rock tends to help a lot with keeping temperatures at bay. Earl, man of the hour. There we go. Now you can carry 400 kilograms per second per trip. Go for it, my dude. I feel like we're not getting much building done. Everyone's just supplying. Can I up some building priorities? Jesse, dig and build. Claude, ranching, farming. Earl can help building as well. Cool. Next up on the order, we got a great digger. Sticker bomber. That's cool. Early bird. I think we'll get another digger, although I do need a chef. But let's get another digger for now. Welcome to the colony, Ross. Ross is one of our newest subscribers. He's got critter version and shabby dresser, but that's okay. He won't be doing any husbandry, and decor is such a small thing. Later on we'll be putting up mega sculptures of beautiful masterworks, and shabby decor will be barely noticeable. As he's a new duplicant, yeah, he's gonna be another digger, and I want him on a schedule that utilizes his, in fact, it's about time we add another schedule. And this will be Ross, and I will have Earl join him so that when we print our next duplicant, that'll fall in there and we'll know there'll be 2 per cycle. Awesome sauce. Research, nearly there. Okay. We have cored out most of the starting biome. I see there's still a few pockets of resources over here. Lost everything there, but that's okay. We'll move them just now. I guess we're gonna want to come in here and really dig through all of this. In fact, let's be cool about it. We are planning for the future here. That, I'm also gonna want to just get a crack here. Just take all of that. Also carry on downwards, and then shoot through over here. We'll shoot through over here. Boom. Boom. Actually, won't even need these ladders here to get that one. I'll just need to pop something there. Gets us all of that. We'll carry on through down here. Got all of this. That one. I'm gonna want to get that. For that, we'll need an extra ladder. And we'll grab this while we're here. Cool. Things are happening in the base. Okay, our research has completed. Fantastic. I missed that. Before they can do that, they will need a supercomputer station. We need to provide power. We do that by clicking on the wire, selecting B, let you build, and I want this at priority 7, please. Food is still great. We don't even need to make any food yet. That's cool. Our grill has been researched. Yeah, I'll put it there for now. Add that power there. Perfect. Got a 5th colonist. Get in there. There for the beds. My bad. Sorry, Ross. Like, knowing you personally, It's probably not the first time you've had to sleep on the floor, but we're gonna get you a beautiful sleeping quarters with a whole bunch of fam families. Cool. That's happening. It should fall in. They should start doing the research. I want this at always priority 7. That is our most important research at this phase. Let's just up the priorities on this so that Ross can fall in peace. Surely you shouldn't have to spend another day on the floor. That's just... there's no love in that, you know? Making slow progress. This we can't reach because we've completely destroyed whatever was there. That's fine. Clean up there. In fact, we could probably put this all the way up there. Minus this one, I'm gonna lose that sand. Mind I'd be able to make that. Come on, Jesse! You genius, you've done it. Okay, we do have the ranching. I'm gonna want to shoot power, but how soon? Let's push through power quickly so that we can develop that spine as we mentioned, and we'll begin our grooming station. We've got the grooming station. We'll require critter feeder. We'll require drop off. That should do it. Now we've got our 3 tiles here, which means that any creatures can only be contained within this little area, except naturally for our shine bugs that manage to work their way into our hatch ranch. No worries, we'll get them out soon enough. We simply say hatches, and then we'll build another one of these over there, and probably here. Where else could we put one? Yeah, up there. Cool. And that'll allow us to just manually transfer the critters between the different spots. Should Claude have the correct skills for this? Not far off. 900 more skill points. You can do it. Alrighty. Hatch ranch is up. This is going to be a priority of 7. This will be a priority of 8. Sandstone has been prepared. And we'll be feeding them sandstone at a priority of 6. Now we can just copy that over to the other base. Feeder. There we go. Perfect. Now, what am I missing here? Is it like one tile? No, it's more than one tile. Several tiles, in fact. Okay, that's good. 21. Run. Really? Did I miss it out that much? Oh. Oh wow. Used to be there. Okay, that's good. we'll set the boundary. That's the boundary. I'm actually going to want a door right here. Perfect. Our first thing is up. We can put shine bug, shine blank, auto wrangle. Let's say 3:47. Have we got anyone else? Yes, we do. 3 and 7. 20. Okay. They should automatically just escort the bugs from where they shouldn't be to where they should be. So just capture those 2 loose ones. This will be a doorway. Food is going down a little bit. That's because we've been mostly building and not exploring. We want 0 critters here. Priority 7. And they should auto wrangle this little buggy eventually. I mean, now they should auto wrangle the bug eventually. We'll do the same with this one over here. Did that copy over? 0, yes, 7. Yeah, perfect. Our grill's getting up. That's good. And we don't use so many things, but it would be nice if we can at least grill our bristle berries into gristle berries. Bristle blossoms into gristle blossom. Bristle berries. Yeah, it's bristle berries into gristle berries. That's what I mean. We'll do all of that. Priority 7. And I want to make sure that when we discover these raw foods like meat, mushroom, the other one was bristleberry, that they don't go and eat them, because as soon as we come over here and cook this bristleberry at 1600 kilo, which is basically 1 bristleberry harvest, you cook that, it becomes 2000 kilocalories. So that's like a 40% increase. I mean, that's great, right? Well, yeah. It does the same with barbecue. There we go. Fried mushroom. There we are. So that means it's phenomenally so much better for you just to cook the stuff. We don't want them to eat it raw. We want them to first bring it here. The chef will cook it. We don't have a chef. We don't have a chef. We need a chef. Isn't this the... No. 000 cuisine, 0 cuisine, 0 cuisine, 0 cuisine. Right. How important is research? Nah, we'll get another researcher somewhere. Give you carrying skills. I mean a chef. We're looking for a chef. We'll get a chef somewhere. Cycle 15. We should get a printer soon. Yeah, 0.3 cycles. Fingers crossed for a chef. I believe. Our ranch should be the right size, 96, correct. We're just waiting for Claude to get his little bits of skill points. It should be soon. Soon. We're gonna go ahead and open this. Hopefully this little shine bug will just travel through here on his own. Oh, that's a lot of water. We'll just let it happen. Marker in the skill point. Marker our digger. Abyssalite. Yeah, why not? We're gonna need to go places soon enough. Right, now for our power spine. We're gonna want it somewhere over here. gonna be tricky. A corner build over there. So that we can firstly destroy the plant and then build up here. That'll compress this gas this way. Come on, chef. No chefs. Okay, we'll use what we've got. Operating supplier can't build. Supplying ranching on farm. That's a tough one. Yeah, I really want a chef, but honestly we don't need one. I'm not gonna sacrifice the chance at a good dupe just for possibilities. We'll skip on that. We'll take the blossom seeds. There'll be many cycles before we can use those, but hey, I'm not complaining. If we can close this in time, our bug will be trapped in here. No, no. And so it begins, the eternal shine bug dance. Are you with me or against me? Okay, that should be Claude. Fantastic. Now we can begin our ranching efforts. I don't need you to be doing any of that, my man. You can help out there. Claude needs to just prioritize ranching. Pretty soon we should start seeing our first critters end up here. Hey, Mr. Hatch. Alright, according to my estimations, we've already got more than 7 hatches, which means I will need to already prepare the next hatch area. And this will need to be on size. Well, tell you what, we're just gonna close it off somewhere here. Let's say here. And just see what that does. This we know is going to need to be sandstone, and we might need to sweep some things. So we'll get this up in there as well. That little shine bug, he'll be moved soon enough. He'll just die, actually. He's dying today. Did we bring him here just to die in a happy place? I think he died on the way here. Oh well. C'est la vie. That was a volcano, I remember. Okay. I like to use the back of my toilets for a prime place to start our cleaning area. Okay, so what we're gonna do is we're gonna drop the water just a tiny bit, which will give us that space to work with, which is great. And we're going to utilize that to construct our cleaning area, so we can start getting rid of all of this off-gassing polluted water before it becomes a real problem. Give that just one go. Okay, 2, 4, 5, 8. I'm gonna close up over here. Oh man. Yeah, close it up there. I don't want any of the gases that we might be creating in here swinging through their sleeping area. It's okay if it'll come through here. We're going to eventually put some deodorizers down, which will just keep the area clean overall. For now, the off-gassing is minimal. We're only at cycle 16, so we're fine. We can set our stable up to start receiving the little ones. Actually, okay, yeah, that's good for now. So later on, when we start getting a lot of hatches, we actually have secondary ranches where, hatch farms where the excess, oh wow, look at that, it's our first stone hatchling egg, where we send the excess hatches off to just starve off. I'll explain it when we get there. This is really lucky. We want stone hatchling eggs. They're phenomenal. Eventually we're going to run a lot of stone hatches, because stone hatches eat where is their diet? Sedimentary rock. They eat sedimentary rock, igneous rock, obsidian, granite, copper ore, gold amalgam, iron ore, wolframite, and aluminium ore. Now we wouldn't feed any of our ores to it necessarily, unless we were hoping to transform it into a smooth hatch, which you can. And these critters can eat ores and then refine them at only a 25% mass loss, as opposed to our metal refinery, which we don't have yet, which loses about 50%, or exactly 50% of the mass. So it's a kind of a natural alternative to early game refining. But we want these stone hatches because they can eat, where is that? Igneous rock. Igneous rock, not only is it abundant, but it comes out of volcanoes, which are an infinite resource. So for long-term colonies, you want your stone hatches. It's great that we have one now. We're not too bothered. In fact, we're not even able to utilize that at this stage, but it's nice to know that we have one. They take roughly 20 cycles to hatch without being groomed. Where's that egg? Stone hatchling incubation 2%. Jumps up 5% per cycle, as you can see. And that comes to 20 cycles. And later on we'll be building incubators to speed up that process. Still not growing food. Food's still fine. I do think we should start doing our meal ice into lice loaf. Reason being, it stretches it a bit further. Sure, it uses water, but we have more than enough water. This has served its purpose. I'll take it out. There should be one here that's not done yet. That's fine. I need this done, please. Research is finished, so we can. I need some of this. We want to get the decorations. Actually, let's go here first. Decorations and some starting automation, because if I'm not mistaken, our power generating stuff, you're starting up, and we're gonna want automation soon. Push that over, so I'm gonna use this as the place. So we're gonna do I wanna come in here, bleach stone. Okay, for now we'll drop it in over there. Power transformer, one there, and that'll supply the upper half of the base, and then do a second one down here somewhere, which will run through to the other side. Dig all of that out. See if that I can't reach. Cool. We've got our first flower pot. Put put that there so that we can upgrade this miscellaneous room that's still not being built. It's been a while. This is finished, so let's have a peek and see what the size is. 107. I need to lose 11 tiles. That's alright, it can be done. That's 10 tiles. That'd be 11 tiles if we leave that like that. Just make sure that we can reach these tiles. There. I would need to drop off. Let's maybe just deconstruct this for now. Put a ladder down so I can reach these few tiles here. Right, this area is starting to take shape. I do need a second level here because what we're going to do is create a dumping pit. For any polluted oxygen, polluted water that we get, we'll put all of that in there. That'll be contained in here. Eventually it'll waft down here, but that's fine. When we get the research for the pumps, we'll be pumping the water into refinery system. Let's make it slightly smaller. Pumping the water into refinery system. 1, 2, 3, 4. That can come here. Refinery system will clean it out. And send it into 2 tanks down here. We'll get there later. Cool. So now that we've got our ranches up and running, we're gonna need a way to extract our eggs. For now, we're gonna manually sweep the eggs at a high priority and put them in a designated location. This can go. Since we are busy finishing this up, I'm going to drop this a little bit. Give it an entrance worthy of being in our colony, our family. We can put a little plant here, and for the first time ever, we've got a mess hall. Once the plant kicks in, that actually upgrades to the Great Hall. Mess hall gives +6 morale, +3 morale, and the Great Hall gives +6, which is one of the best things for morale boosting. You get these as well as nature reserves that are phenomenal for boosting morale. That really helps you. +6 here, +6 there, 12 morale. That helps you get a lot of extra skill points. It's sort of nice to just round out your duplicates, you know. This ranch is ready. Did I not have a critter there? I thought I had a critter here. Oh, he got out. Take you back. This is for our polluted water. Priority 7. Right, now this little water cooler actually contains water, and then during their break time they'll come here and drink some water, which gives them +1 morale, which is cool. Except I only built this so that I can get my Great Hall, which gives +6, and I don't need to waste water on morale. It's not worth it. So we'll disable that. We'll still have our room bonus. managed to find another hatch. It is really important early on to do is explore as much of the internal asteroid as you can to find all the hatchlings, or the hatchlings, hatch eggs, because it's a numbers game. To get the Carnivore Achievement, you have to put your numbers up. For hatches, wild, do we have a tamed one yet? No. Soon. Wait a little bit more. They'll get there. Next cycle we should have some tamed ones. And then I'll explain the numbers of hatches to you. Okay, that obviously should have been anticipated. It was not. Close that up again because we managed to lose our hatch branch powers. Okay, everything's looking smooth. Power spine is starting to take shape now. Is there anything else up here that we wanted to take while we can? I guess we could pop in here and just grab that. And then maybe shoot down there. Right through. Boom. This is a protected area, so once again let's just be sure to keep it that way. Endangered species. Sure, why not? Let's take all of that. Get here, I could probably take that as well. 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2. We'll be able to reach there. Whatever that may be, I'll take it. New principles, come on, chef. What is this? No, I can't do it. Falls asleep periodically. This is the most worthless skill duplicate can have. I mean, they literally just stop what they're doing. It makes them so unproductive. It's terrible. Max, on the other hand, building, farming, doctoring, handy, increased construction and culture, green thumb, and he's only a Luddite. This guy would make an excellent builder. Yeah. Alright, well, it's not a chef, but welcome to the colony. Yeah. Peter, the builder. Peter, you build and you grow plants. That's cool. You're not very good at machines, but that's alright. We don't need you to do machines. Peter, the builder. The builder must first learn to carry so that he can build lots of things at one time. He'll also need to prioritize building in life and farming in life. Claude, we can free over from farming because Peter's better. And he won't do much other than building and farming. For now, that's perfect. He could help with storing and supplying because he's got the skill points. Mind, so could she. Thanks, Jesse. Let's do this. A bit of polluted water over there, so that should help with the dirt that's in here. Get that out. For now, let's also just store there. And I guess we'll store there. These two basins will be for anything that off gases. We'll put our polluted dirt in here for now. And then any cool resources like bleachstone or oxalite that we happen to find. At this stage we're going to want to dig up and store so that it doesn't off gas anymore, because we got oxygen production sorted. These resource statistics are extremely handy. We'll be able to track what kind of polluted dirt we're accumulating, as well as what kind of dirt we still have lying around. Now remember, dirt's used for our outhouses as well as research. So if that runs out, we got a problem. We can also track our copper ore for now. This is what we use for any sort of electronics and special builds, so we want to know how much we have at all times. More importantly, our oxygen depends on our algae. Now this could run out very quickly. We happen to have 26.3 tons. That's great. That'll last us quite a while, and there are many algae tiles still in the vicinity, so we're not in any sort of pressure. But we'd like to get to using water for oxygen sooner rather than later. We can set up this one so long it is going to take any polluted dirt as well as rot piles, which we haven't discovered yet. I also haven't discovered any oxalite or bleached stone. Let us now go and discover bleached stone. It's been discovered and it's off-gassing. Bleach stone is a consumable ore. We want this stored in here at 9, priority 9, very high, because every second that this little bleach stone sits here, it sits here somewhere. There you are. It's emitting chlorine. Look at that chlorine go. That's bad, man. Look at that. 31 grams. 36 grams. 39 grams. What? Picked up bleach stone. Did you know if you follow your duplicant, they get an extra trait on their status bar called center of attention. This duplicant feels like someone's watching over them. It gives them -5 stress, which helps if they're stressed out, just that little bit. While he's carrying it, there seems to be absolutely no off-gassing. So as soon as they pick it up, the off-gassing stops, and then when they store it, it's underwater and it can't off-gas anymore. Safe. Now we know if we need to dig through here, we can collect whatever we want, and they'll quickly go and store it if need be. Our spine taking shape. We're gonna definitely want that there. Pop this here. I'm gonna need to open up some of that, as well as put that tile down. This will close off the wall, and I'm gonna want to change that up and put the wheels this side, for they're gonna need heavy water wiring. And this is the start of our first power spine. Research has finished, and that's cool. We're gonna not do any research for a little while. Actually, we shouldn't be speeding through everything so quickly. There could be hatch eggs that need our attention. No, thankfully not. But they're groomed, and they're happy and tame. So what that tells us, being happy gives them a 900% reproduction rate. Base reproduction is 2% per cycle, which means that out of 100 cycles that these critters live, it takes them about 50 odd cycles to lay one egg, and during their entire lifespan they only lay one egg. Also, it takes them about 7 cycles just to mature from a hatchling into a hatch, so that egg usually comes around cycle 57, 60, around there. And that's food is about, I think it's 3,200 kilocalories per hatch, which could feed 4 duplicants in 100 cycles. That's a long time to wait, so you groom them. Grooming increases it. We get 17% per cycle. It takes about 6 point something cycles. So every 7 cycles we get an egg from a groomed hatch, which means in a full hatch at 96 tiles. Now remember, you need 11 tiles. No, 12. You need 12 tiles. 11 tiles, 12 tiles per critter. I forget now. I think it's 11. 12. No, it is 12. It is 12 because I got 7 critters in here. This is as big as the ranch can go at 96. So 96 divided by 12 gives us 8. When we have 7 critters in here, that gives them the leeway to lay 1 extra egg, which is also counted as a critter, by the way. And then that'll bring the total up to 8. And at that point, this room would be full. If a second egg was to be hatched or laid in that period, these hatches would go from being happy to being overcrowded. And they would stop. That's wild. And they would stop trying to reproduce. This would flatline to 0 and we get no production. So we always want to check for when that egg comes. That gives us a bit of time to find the egg and take it out. For now we're putting them here until we've got a better storage. We've got to make sure when we put the eggs in here we take them out again, because an egg that sits in a box loses viability. You can see our stone hatchling egg that was first to go in already lost 20%. The other 2 are 86, and that's fine. They'll survive until they hatch. We don't need to worry about anything there. So yeah, if we get 1 egg here, it's fine. If there are 2 eggs in this building, they become overcrowded and they can't produce. So for now we keep an eye until we get to automate all of that, which shouldn't take too long because we are pushing through it. Let's get that. In fact, I've now got my automatic dispenser, and what's cool about these is that they're like storage bins, except when a duplicate puts something in there, it then shoots out it pops out the chute in the front, and it could fall through a pneumatic door into the lower level. So we'll have that in both of our ranches, and they'll both fall down into this room for now, where we'll be able to let them chill out until we've got incubators to push them into hatching. It's looking good. We're going to want to prepare a level 5, 6. We're going to want to prepare a level some batteries. We've got some jumbo batteries. These actually hold a lot more power than the standard battery, but they also produce a lot more heat. Gosh. Oh no, they produce the same amount of heat. So we can store more, produces the same amount of heat. The power leak at 1000 there. I need this built so I can show you. I'll show you later. I'm going to push this on a little bit so that I can fit in 2 mess tables. Cool. I'm going to put in 2 compost piles over there to deal with our polluted dirt. We finally have our rock crusher that I was bragging about earlier, remember? This we'll put somewhere. Yeah, I guess it's alright here. We'll do a rock crusher over here. Feed it the power that it needs. Current load 240. Okay, it doesn't go so high. These small wires that we start off with, they've only got a power potential of 1000 joules, watts, 1000 watts at any given rate. If the consumption load goes over that, you'll start getting overheating on the cable, which breaks and then requires repairs, which wastes your precious ores. In order to avoid that, we then upgrade to these heavy watt wires. Now, there's 2 things to know about heavy watt wires. Firstly, they act like a tile and not an underlay building. That means I couldn't build through other tiles. like you can with the smaller power wires. That's why we separate them into their own little area. The other reason why it's separated into their own area is that once it's built, this has a huge negative decor, -25 per segment. So if a duplicant was standing over there and they have a reach of, say, 3 tiles on each side, that's 150 minus 150 decor this dude would be exposed to just because he's standing here. I lie. That's 175. But yeah, it's terrible. So you kind of want to build it away from your main things. It also generates heat, so we've got it tucked away in the shoulder of our base on the right. Once this is up and running, let's disable this so that they don't run on the wheel before we're ready for them. Once this is ready, we'll then break up the old setup and we'll redistribute our smaller power wires from these power transformers. Now these power transformers get plugged in onto the heavy watt wire. The heavy watt wires are plugged into our generators, and how this works is the power gets generated. Previously we could only do 2 manual generators because that would take the power generation up to 800. If it went over 1000 it would overheat. But now we've got heavy watt wires. We can put 3 or 4 even, all on the same heavy watt wire. This pushes that 1600 watts through the wall with our wall heavy watt joint plate into the back of the wall, where these power watt wires are hooked up to transformers. And transformers are able to take this huge load and reduce it to a maximum of 1000 watts into the wire. It has an input on the heavy watt wire, and then we'd segment the smaller wires off that, bridge over the wire there. If they were to hook up, it would connect and overburn, and then we'd shoot this out. And simple like that. Disable the rest of these. Is it priority 7s? Yes it is. Disable that one. Cool. A quick way to see, there we go. A quick way to see if it's if there's 2 eggs is to just see if they're overcrowded. You'll see a red under their descriptions. It'll say overcrowded in red. But other than that, you kind of have to really look. They like to lay eggs in these corners, so I usually check there. There's our hatching egg, and then we check there. Okay, cool, nothing. I do need to pop that back on so that they can take the egg, and then check on that. No, that's good. So we're at cycle 20. We already have 8 hatches. We need more, but we've got a good start. We have 6 duplicates. Now our 8 hatches, if we do the numbers correctly, we said provide us an egg every 7 cycles, which is enough to feed 4 duplicates. Which means if we have 7 hatches in this ranch, that's an egg every day, which means we could feed 4 duplicates every day. So I need another 2.5 hatches at least, just to know that we got enough meat coming in to sustain our colony. Now in order to get those extra hatches, we've been exploring, but it hasn't produced any good results. Hopefully over here something might pop up. Hopefully. But yeah, I'm going to change this up. We're going to push for our incubators because that's emergency stuff we need, so that we can max out our hatch farms. See, the plan is, in order to reach 400,000 kilocalories of meat before cycle 100, we need to have a huge load of consumption. Firstly, 6 people eating that meat, that's only 6,000 per cycle. If I started eating meat now, we'd probably make it, but I don't have meat. We have still 53,000 kilocalories of muck root at cycle 20, which means we still haven't grown anything. We're just living off the land, off this land, and a bit of this and that. But yeah, we're gonna want to boost this to a point where we can make sure that we have eaten 400,000 kilocalories by cycle 100. And how we're going to calculate this is as such. One of these hatches, one of these ranches will produce one hatch every day. Oh, sorry, one egg every day. And the egg naturally incubates for 20 days before it hatches. We'll create a kill chamber soon enough where they'll hatch and die instantly without a dupe having to come and kill them manually, which helps a lot. It takes time and they sometimes fight back, hurting the duplicant. So that would mean for every egg that's hatched, we'd need 20 days to have it evolve into barbecue. They call it an evolution chamber. So that means that we'd need to add 20 days to our cycles before we could even begin having meat. So that means our 3 eggs, we need more eggs. We're still kind of like getting them into the whole breeding cycle, so their egg reproduction rates are climbing, and it should hit 1 egg per cycle capacity soon. It's not there yet, but we'll get there soon. Let's say over the next 10 cycles we were to fill 6. That's a lot. Let's say over the next 20 cycles we managed to fill the second ranch. Cool. We'd know that would feed 8 duplicants. We'd then be at cycle 40, and we know that each egg takes 20 cycles to hatch. So from cycle 60, we'd then have 8,000 kilocalories of meat every day for 40 cycles. That only brings us to 320,000 kilocalories by cycle 100, which means I need to produce more meat and eat more meat. 6 duplicants is not enough. 8 wouldn't be enough. 12, if we had 12 duplicants eating 12,000 calories from cycle 60, that would do it. So that's what we're going to aim for. We need, over the next 40 cycles, 6 more duplicants, and we need a third ranch, and we need all 3 ranches filled up. Cool. Now that we know where we're gonna go and our power spine is almost ready, I'm gonna say goodbye for today. We've done a lot. It's really getting there. We've started our look at that. We've started our composting and cleaning area. Don't worry, it's gonna develop. Our food area is finished up. I wonder if they've cooked anything yet. Possibly. You know, we could go and look at our colony summary. Oh wow, when did we get that? Outdoor renovations complete. I mean, it is an achievement run. I gotta admit, a lot of them will sort of just happen naturally until later on when we've targeted these. Then we'll start targeting some real, some of the really tricky other achievements. We've already eaten 3,200 kilocalories of meat. That's great. That also tells me they ate the uncooked barbecue before we got to set it in. But that's okay. We have time and we have got space. As for locavore, we're nearing the 100,000 kilocalorie mark. Now remember, locavore means we can't use any planter boxes, farm tiles, or hydroponic tiles until that's finished. And I need farm tiles if I want to do Draco ranching, which we should be hitting soon. Unless we start a natural Draco ranch in one of our sanctuaries, which we could also do. Yeah. Alright, that's it for today's episode. As you can see, we have the hatch ranch up and running. This setting should be here and there. And I'll take it off here. Because God knows you can grab an egg somewhere, forget about it. It gets put in the box and you forget about that egg until it rots. Well, it doesn't rot, it actually cracks open and becomes a raw egg. Yeah, it becomes raw egg, which you can actually go and cook in the electric grill into omelets. It would then pop up here. Yeah, but we don't want that. We need the actual critter because we need meat producing machines. Every egg needs to hatch. So we've got both of them set. When the eggs are there, the duplicants will run over, grab the egg, pop it in there, and it'll fall down into our breeding chamber for now. Perfect. I'd like to thank you guys for taking the time to watch here. If you haven't subscribed yet, please do. The subscriptions and the likes help the algorithms to know that, hey, we're onto something. People might actually learn a thing or two, you know? Cool. Thanks again. And for that, I'd like to say ciao.